Oh, hi. How are you? Um, doing this again. First of all, how's your Monday going? We're actually doing this again because I forgot to turn on my audio earlier, and now I can see my audio should be working. Awesome. So this will be fun. This will be a repeat for myself. I deleted the previous video, so you can't find it. So I'm going to kind of shorten up what I had said earlier simply because I'm doing it again. But welcome back to an extensive collection of name tags and hairnets. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the journey so far, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss an episode. I realize it's been a month since the last episode. Between the twins' birthday and them contracting the coronavirus, the Omicron, they're fine. Don't worry, they're fine. It's been a very interesting January. So thank you for sticking with me. This is the time I thought about the children. So sorry, I had to throw it in there. I actually worked in an after school program for the Boys and Girls Club. And I don't remember exactly what my title was. Maybe after school program specialist. I don't remember specifically. And they've probably have changed the title since it's been about 20 years. If you're here for anything negative, I'm sorry to disappoint, but nothing disappointing, nothing negative in this episode. So sorry. And also the happy note out of this episode is we break out of the 90s finally and into the 2000s, into the knots. So per my last video, I was at the pizza place and I left simply because I needed more hours. You know, I'm really, really paranoid now. So I'm just going to check to see, am I really live right now? Can you hear me? So, as I'm doing that like a dork, an absolute dork. So I needed more hours. I looked in the newspaper, in the want ads and the classifieds, because that's what you did at the time. Unless you saw a sign outside saying we're hiring, you wouldn't know. Or you'd call to inquire, which you don't do that anymore. That would be ridiculous. No calls, please. So I saw in the classifieds, it was a Sunday paper, that Boys and Girls Club was looking for college students for their after school program for the remainder of the school year. This was fall of 99. So I don't remember exactly what month it was, but I went to the club, asked for the paper application, brought it home, filled it out with my best handwriting, brought it back to the club, waited for either a phone call for an interview or a letter saying that they were passing me for another candidate. So I don't remember what the time frame was, but I got a call from the HR department at that club saying, yes, we'd love to bring you in and interview you. So went to the interview. It went very well. And at the end of the interview, bear in mind, remember this, I'd worked at Claire's where I had, 19 earrings. So I wore 19 earrings going into the interview. I don't know why. I think I just didn't want them closed, which is really funny because the gentleman that was interviewing me was, every so often you could tell he was looking at my ears and kind of not so much that I had piercings. It was at the time, and this policy could still be in effect. There was a no piercing, no tattoos visible. Not that you couldn't have them, they just couldn't be visible. And the reason being, at the time, again, this is 20 years ago, before tattoos and piercings were really, really, really mainstream. This was like the beginning of everything, all of that becoming really mainstream, the end of the 90s into the aughts. And so the explanation was, well, he asked, do I need to keep all of those earrings? Am I fine with not wearing them while I worked. The reason being, at the time, there was an issue where there were a few kids who really, really kind of got attached to one of the staff. And the staff, I guess, had ear piercings and things. And the kids tried to pierce themselves. So obviously, as somebody who I was aghast, obviously, like, well, obviously, we don't want kids doing that. I worked as an ear piercer. I don't want kids doing that. So if that's the case, then yeah, I'm fine to take my piercings out. And I've only had my ears pierced. And he said, you're okay with that? And I said, honestly, I was letting people practice on me. So it's really not that big of a deal. And whatever stays pierced, stays pierced. And he said, okay, all right. I was kind of looking for an excuse at that point to, start taking them out. It's a lot to take care of. So yeah, I said, that's fine. I do want to add that, yes, they were hiring part-time staff for specifically the after-school program, but during the day and those who were managers on site with the after-school program, they were all full-time employees and I believe the requisite at the time was at least a bachelor's degree. So probably, depending on what area they worked, equivalent to that. So yeah, to be full-time, or I'm sorry, part-time, I think you at least need to be 18 with at least a high school diploma, but they were definitely looking for college students specifically because there's more of a structure with the schedule, as well as being still young and not taking care of, but working with kids, and you didn't have to be specifically an education student. So that was really cool. So I don't remember obviously I got the job. I don't remember the time between the interview and my first day. I just know it all took place in December, but I do remember that I started during winter break at the club in December of 99. So this was before they assigned me to school, just so I can kind of get an idea of what was happening. So that was really fun. I worked at the club for, I think it was at 2 weeks, not every day, but I think I went in a few days here and there to just kind of get accustomed to the culture of Boys and Girls Club, which was really, really helpful. And once school resumed from winter break, I was assigned to school. And it was funny because it was an elementary school my mom attended. So she kind of got a kick out of that. And I worked at the school for the rest of that school year, and then the following school year. And then the following school year, I was assigned to another school. In fact, it was the elementary school I had attended. And in between all of that, there were a few times where I helped out at another school location just because they were short-staffed. So I would fill in temporarily while I hired people to work at that school, and then I'd go back to my location, my home base. So I don't want to give too much detail just because of safety precautions. We live in a really weird time right now. So I'm going to be pretty vague over parts of the job and parts of where we went in the school because, yeah, if you're not staff, you don't need to know. Parents, you should ask the staff. So yeah, and then during the summer, I worked somewhere else. And then there were a few other jobs I had in between while I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. So the next few episodes will be while I was working at the Boys and Girls Club. But it'll still be in the 2000s, I promise. No more 90s. So I keep holding my hair clip for some reason. So I started, it was the after school program, like I said 1,000 times already today. Part of the protocol was we would meet the kids all in one location. And after they had their snacks, we made sure every kid had a snack. We tried to be as healthy as possible. A lot of granola bars, and some fruit snacks, milk. And I do want to say that we were trained specifically to never, ever use food as a reward. Food is food. And some kids, especially in the schools that I worked, they were typically, typically in the 70, they were 75% free reduced lunch. So food was never used as a reward. It was, no, here is your snack after school. You've had a long day and it's going to be well before you go home for dinner. So here's a snack. We did reward kids, but we used Pokemon cards because that was what was super popular at the time, 20 years ago. Look where we are now. My kids love Pokemon. So yeah, fun, huh? But we would use Pokemon cards and, other like pencils, eraser, fun stuff. But like I said, food was food. It was never used as a reward. Around the holidays and different things, we would, I think, sometimes give out extra stuff, but we purposely never gave out candy. That was another thing. It was, candy is not food. So we wanted to set a good example for kids. I think we did a good job. I hope so. If you were a kid there, let me know, because it's been, like I said, 20 years. So so once everybody was congregated and my dog, and we took attendance, made sure everybody was accounted for, everybody had their snack, went to the bathroom. Kids would separate and go into the different areas that they wanted to hang out, whether they wanted to play a sport, or just play like physical activity type activities. Physical activities. Yeah. As well as um, arts and crafts. I forgot there was another area and I can't remember what it was. And then the area that I was in, that I had ownership, was homework area. So we take the kids to a designated area and they were able to finish their homework for the day, read if they didn't have any. The little ones would, we would sit in a circle and I would read to them. And they would always choose some kind of book, usually a Dr. Seuss book, with some kind of tongue twisters. And they would see how quickly I could read through the book and how many mistakes I would make. And like I said, a lot of Dr. Seuss. And I don't even remember what book it was, but it was one that would pick out probably 3 times a week. Like, do it again, do it again, do it faster. I want to say it was Green Eggs and Ham. I don't remember exactly, but that was fun. It was a lot of fun. So once the kids were done with their homework, reading, whatever, reading circle, they were allowed to play games in the computer lab. This is pre cell phone. Like, this is like, 99 and say 2000. This is when people are starting to get cell phones. There really weren't games on it. There's Tetris, Snake, I think. I was the first of my friends, I think, to get a cell phone in 90. So it's not like kids were playing on their phone. Nobody was bringing a Game Boy, because Game Boy was the handheld device at the time. It was before DS, by the way. So we didn't have, it's not like today. So we let them play in the computer lab. A lot of kids, because they would play Oregon Trail, which is, it's so funny, just the nostalgia of it now. So around the time, also, one of my sorority sisters, yes, I was in a sorority. She was working in an after-school program as well, but it was for the YMCA. So we would sometimes trade similarities and differences in our roles, never about specific kids because of privacy issues, but we would usually talk about protocols, different ways of they would, how kids, what they did when they got to the YMCA or when they got to the club. We would discuss things like that. But that was really interesting. We were able to swap stories, so that was pretty cool. So at one point, like I said, I would try to take initiative and I would volunteer to help out at other schools because, I didn't know if I still wanted to go into education at the time. I was an English major and I didn't know if I wanted to be an English teacher. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So again, this was a great opportunity to, feel things out. So I again want to take initiative, and the guy I was hanging out with, I don't even know what you'd call it at this point. The guy I was hanging out with, he was a theater major and needed a job, so I got him a job. He was working in the area I was with the homework, and he had an idea of, hey, let's write a play for the kids. That way we don't have to deal with copyright issues because it would be an original play, and have the kids perform it. Whatever kids are interested. Brought it up to the boss, the manager, the on-site manager, and she liked the idea. So she had to get that approved, got it approved, and we started working and writing the play. And it was 3 to 5 pages, not much dialogue, some not many sets, like no sets actually, and not much blocking, I think is what they call it in theater. What did I write? Stage direction. This is why I write a script. So, like I said, not much dialogue, very easy for the kids to memorize. And I think it was called Sebastian and the Golden Fork. And from what I remember, it was something, 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 a little boy named Sebastian. He has to battle a dragon to get spaghetti, but his only weapon is this golden fork. So he battles the dragon through not even like battling. It was a lot of like using his words. Because again, we're working with kids. We don't want to do anything, horrible. So it has to be a learning experience. And it had to be approved. Don't worry, it had to be approved. So it wasn't just we were left to do whatever we wanted. No, it was approved. And through using his words, he spoke with the dragon, and the dragon realized, oh no, I'm hoarding all the spaghetti. That's not cool. Sorry. And then in the end, there's a big celebration, I guess, and all the villagers, everybody has spaghetti. So, so somehow through all of this, I have this great idea of, well, the parent, we're going to promote this to the parents and friends, teachers, whomever wants to see it. And, when they come to pick up their kids, they'll watch the play and then go home and whatnot. So I somehow convinced my boss to let me make a bunch of spaghetti for like 50 to 75 people. I'm an odd person. I think about the weirdest stuff. So yes, she let me, I had to buy it and everything. I think I got expense, but it's spaghetti and sauce. So yeah, I made, I kid you not, I made in one of those big, what is it? Nesco, is it Nesco? Big things that I had to borrow from the club, and where you have to put the water in that. It was a whole big thing. And yeah, I made spaghetti for like 50 to 75 people. Handed it out while the kids were performing. Kids did a great job, and it was great to see not only the kids that were in it that were supportive. There was one part where I think one of the kids forgot his line, and the other kids in the play were supportive. They're like, it's this line, and like, oh, got it. But everybody was supportive. Nobody was making fun of anybody. The kids that were not in it, but they were just participating, and they were a part of the audience, they were very supportive, and just lots of roars of cheers at the end and standing ovation. And it was so great for the kids to be recognized, and I really loved it. And apparently it was such a hit that the West Side Boys and Girls Club reached out to my boss to reach out to me to see if I wanted to do a theater club at their location. So this is part where I don't remember exactly what my duties were, or not so much that, but where I went and when I went. So I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I went there twice a week to the West Side location to do some kind of theater club where we would just do different activities relating to theater and performing arts. Some, anywhere from doing exercises, to practicing improv, to rehearsing different scenes that were appropriate for, middle school. So I don't remember if it was one of the times where I was filling in at another school, and then going to the west side. I don't remember. I could have been going to the west side after my regular hours. I don't remember. I wish I could. So that was really fun. I had a lot of at one point I had good memories. It's been so long now. But I enjoyed the time there and I did learn a lot. Unfortunately, after a few months, it kind of fizzled out at the theater club or with the theater club at the West Side location, just because more fun things were happening in the gym. So kids were starting to go do that. I think it was like a sport that started up or something. So that got more interest. And again, my dog is on the floor with his tongue like a baby. So that's like the in and out of the job. Again, I don't have anything negative to say. The Boys and Girls Club, amazing, amazing organization. There weren't any perks because it's a nonprofit. You're working with kids, so it was more the satisfaction in the job itself rather than okay, you get 10% off of your piercings. I felt good about myself. I felt like I was helping kids. I felt like I was making a difference. And, looking back, those kids are now, 30, late 20s to, mid 30s now. So it's hopefully I had a positive impact in their lives. If you are any of those kids, let me know. I'd love to see how you're doing. Lessons. Think of the children, you know, won't somebody think of the children, to quote Maud Flanders. Absolutely. It definitely gives you a perspective. If you're a college student and you're looking for an after school job that's fun, there are challenges. You're dealing with other people's kids. I can't imagine what it's like now compared to 20 years ago. Things have changed. Society has changed slightly. Um, wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. The sun's coming out. Great. So, yeah, lesson think about the next generation and the generation after that and how you're impacting them. That's really what I thought of. So, and that has obviously stuck with me. It's not the first time I've worked around kids. Probably not the last. I don't know. So, why I stopped working there? It's a combination of a bunch of things. So, I left. It was spring of 2002, and at the time, my friend's dad was opening up a franchise, and I'll save that for that video. It won't be the next video. There will be a few videos before that one, just because, like I said, I think I said earlier, I don't know if I said in this video or not, but there were a few other roles that I had while I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. In fact, I think the next video I will be doing is Bay Beach amusement park. It If you know Bay Beach, you know Bay Beach. And that was fun. So that'll be the next video. So during the time while I was there, during that 2.5 years, life changes. I was a student when I started, and my focus got pulled. It's a new part of your life, and responsibilities are different than when you were in high school. More people are pulling for your attention, and it depends on how you manage your time. I didn't know how to manage my time, and especially when it came to managing how much fun I was having. And I kind of let that let myself have more fun than I should have at certain times. So I was on academic probation. I still say there were too many gen eds necessary for an English major. Anyway, and I was trying to focus on more than one thing, more than one person, rather than prioritizing, because I didn't know how. I do now. So if you're a young person, you need to prioritize. You really need to sit down without anyone else around and just say, okay, what are the top 5 things that are important and in what order are they important? And how much time you can actually legit dedicate to each thing. And like I said, I'm a people pleaser. So I was kind of overarching myself. I was in a sorority, like I said. I was also uh, going to classes. I was doing a radio show with a friend of mine. I was hanging out with this dude, still living at home. There were just a lot of factors, and I just didn't know how to prioritize. Anyway, I'm rambling. So after being on academic probation for a couple semesters, they finally said, all right, that's enough. Until you clean up your act and get your grades up by going to the technical college, NWTC, Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, for 15 credits and do well, which is 5 classes. Sorry, go take those classes and come back. I was stubborn, still had the stigma about technical colleges, and I will probably have a whole video about, no, tech colleges are awesome, and here's why. So I was stubborn. I didn't want to do that. My parents were like, well, all right, this is what life dealt you based on, what you did or didn't do. What are you going to do about it? No use crying. Yeah, I'm sure you're sad. That's fine to cry, but all right, you can have the day to cry. But after that, what are you going to do? You really only have 2 options. You can go take those classes, some gen eds, get those out of the way, or you can go to work. That's literally all you can do. And maybe you'll go back to school. All you can do is move forward. And I am grateful that they didn't yell. They didn't yell. It was just more of, well, all right, you effed up. How are you going to fix it? What are you going to do now? What's your next step? Because you can't just piss and moan and cry about it. You just keep on. What Dory says, just keep swimming. So I decided to work. Side note, if your instinct is to yell at somebody, again, my parents didn't, but if you're a friend and your first instinct is to yell at that person, you're not a friend. You're a judgmental person. So maybe that came from somewhere. I don't know. So I continued working at the Boys and Girls Club, and you'll find out I worked at a few other places in between. Tried to do full time at a couple other places while. Oh yeah, there's a restaurant. Huh. Yeah, there's like 4 more videos before my next step from this episode. So this will be interesting. So like I said, I just kept working. And it was the end of the school year for the kids, not me, because I wasn't in school. And we always ended our program, I think, a week before school ended, just because by then kids are, parents have their own plans at that point. So it was a cross between, I think, because I was letting things kind of falter a little bit, my boss wasn't too thrilled, and I don't think her boss was too thrilled. So it was like a mutual, like, well, I'm moving to Menasha anyway to help my friend's dad. And she's like, well, that's good. Okay. If you change your mind and you get your shit together, basically, come back. But she was as nice as possible about it. She was as sweet as possible. You could tell she was like trying not to cry. She was really sweet, but it was kind of a wake up call too, that I just need to get it together. Put it all in a bag together. So, but the organization was great. Like I said before, the Boys and Girls Club, I have nothing but good things to say about the organization. I had a wonderful experience. I learned a lot. I had a lot of good times. Kids taught me things. I taught kids things. I taught them things. Yeah, it was great. And then, periodically we would take them. We would be at the school with the kids, but periodically we would take them to the club so they could see kids from other schools, which was pretty fun too. And then I would be assigned to the corresponding room that I worked. Yeah, I did. I really did have a great time, and I keep looking at these two badges I have. I just want to quick show them off. I don't know where. I don't know if I made this or somebody else made this. I don't know. Um, I think somebody had something. And then this was like my official badge. I'm not going to show too much of it, but yeah, that's me. That's a baby Julie. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we had an assigned shirt. That's right. We had t-shirts and a sweatshirt that were assigned to us that we kept that was part of our work uniform. So we could wear a t-shirt because that was at the time, late 90s going into the aughts, it was popular to wear, trying to explain this to my kids. It was popular to wear a t-shirt under a t-shirt or a long sleeve t-shirt under a t-shirt. So we're trying to get them to do that now because, it's still cool. And it's layering. It gets, the weather gets weird. So I would typically do that, or like a turtleneck underneath my t-shirt, or if it was really cold, because it's in Wisconsin, I would have a sweatshirt. I think I had two sweatshirts. They were green and gray. So that was our assignment. We could wear jeans and sneakers, which was great. Yeah, otherwise there really wasn't a uniform, and we had to wear our little badges so the school staff could identify, like, oh, okay, Boys and Girls Club. It was also on our shirt, embroidered. So when my employment ended, I had to turn those back in, which makes sense. What am I going to do with them? If somebody else can use them, great, that's fine. I'm sure they had them dry cleaned and all that. That's fine. So comfy shirts. Yeah. But yeah, great organization. If they do have a program, if you were a club kid, a Boys and Girls Club kid, they have an alumni program, and you can find other people that were also alumni. I thought that was really cool. I worked in an alumni association at one point at that technical college. So I just thought that was really neat. They don't have one for employees, but I thought that'd be cool if they did. So they're a nonprofit. They need help, just like any organization that works with kids. They're a nonprofit. I think I said that. And they're a great place to go for kids after school that don't have a place to go otherwise. So I thumbs up, wholly support. I have them linked below if you're interested in learning more. So thank you so much for watching. I do want to add, if you're in the marketing industry, I actually host a show for AMA Puget Sound. That's American Marketing Association Puget Sound chapter. It's a Coffee Talk series. We host on Thursdays, and it's live just like this. And I interview different marketing professionals when we talk about different topics, not just marketing, but work-life balance. Last week we talked about the metaverse. Or previously we talked about the metaverse. We're talking about being zoomed out this week. So I have that link below as well. Not to plug other stuff I'm doing, but who am I, Simon Whistler? Thank you so much for watching. I did rush this a little bit simply because this is the second time I've had to do it. Hopefully this is all I have to do. I'm working on the next episode. Like I said, it's Bay Beach. That one is going to be a fun episode. Nothing negative, but it will be entertaining because I got hurt a lot because I'm clumsy. And once my friend tried to run me down with a bumper car. So keep watch. I'll try to do that one next week. If I get it this week, well, you guys are just lucky. So thank you all again so much for your support. I appreciate Brad. Thank you so much for letting me know that there was no audio in the previous episode. Brad and I went to high school together, if you're all curious. So thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a great week. I hope everyone's week gets better, especially mine at this point. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.